Hi guys. That's too much stuff here. So I have been doing this for over 15 years now, and I created this recipe for red lentil granola from way back when. So I took these split red lentils, that's masoor dal, cooked them till just about al dente, and then tossed them with some sugar and oil and baked them, and then added some maple syrup and flavors and baked again until it becomes nicely crispy and crunchy. Then folded in some coconut and seeds and baked for 5 minutes or so to toast up the coconut and the seeds. And you have this amazing, delicious, crunchy and nut-free granola. If you want to keep it seed-free, you can omit the seeds as well and just keep it lentils. You can serve this granola like any other granola. Add it to your chia seed pudding, your overnight oats, or a bowl of yogurt. Or you can snack on it as it is. Change up the flavors by adding different spices. You can also make a savory version of the granola by omitting the sugar and adding some spices instead, and then use it as a topping for soups, stews, salads, or however you like. This is a fantastic granola, and don't worry, even if you overcook the lentils a little bit or undercook the lentils a little bit, it'll turn out just fine. You can separate the clumps a little bit after it has baked for a bit, and they will bake out nice and crispy. Just keep an eye on the lentils towards the later half of the baking so that they don't burn. If you're not sure about the oven, just bake at a slightly lower temperature. It'll take them longer to bake, but at least you won't burn them. If you want to try out some more creative recipes, try my Richa orange cranberry quinoa granola. It's kind of like a sweet and sour orange sauce added to the granola, and it makes these delicious Asian inspired clusters that are just fantastic. Also try out my Doritos spiced granola bars. They are basically like eating Doritos chips but in a granola farm. Also try out my sour cream and onion clusters. And for some usual granolas, try out my date caramel granola. That uses blended dates instead of sugar to make a fantastic granola. So let's make this red lentil granola. First, we're gonna cook our lentils. Just add 2 cups of water to a saucepan over medium heat. Bring that to a boil. Once the water is boiling, add your dry red lentils and keep cooking them. The water will come to a boil, and depending on your lentils, it might get a little foamy on top. That foam might boil over. So you want to stir the lentils when the water is rapidly boiling. Reduce the heat to medium-low if it is trying to boil over too much. And continue to cook the lentils for about 6.5 to 7 minutes. You want the lentils to cook so that they're just about starting to fray at the edges and you don't see any darker orange or pink colors, especially in the middle of the lentils. Switch off the heat, drain the lentils into a strainer, then wash with cold water. Use a light spray of cold water. Too harsh a spray of cold water will disintegrate the lentils. And then let them drain while you preheat the oven and prep your baking sheet and the rest of the ingredients. Line a baking sheet with parchment, and then after draining the lentils for at least 10 minutes or so, transfer the lentils from the strainer onto the baking sheet. Add a tablespoon of sugar and a pinch of salt and mix lightly, and spread the lentils a little bit and put them to bake in the oven for at least 20 minutes or so. We're baking at lower temperatures. Depending on your oven, you want to adjust it anywhere between 315 to 320 degrees Fahrenheit. I bake it at 320 degrees Fahrenheit for about 18 to 20 minutes, then take that out of the oven. In the meanwhile, mix your maple syrup with some flavors such as vanilla and cinnamon, and a little bit of baking powder, some oil, and mix that in. You can add some more sugar if you want your granola to be sweeter, and mix that in. Then remove the baking tray from the oven. Add your maple mixture and mix in lightly, then add another teaspoon of oil and mix in and spread that mixture. Now this mixture might be extra clumpy depending on how much the lentils are cooked. Just break those lumps a little bit and spread them, and then put that back in the oven to bake. Now we're gonna bake this at slightly lower temperature, about 300 to 305 degrees Fahrenheit for about 25 to 30 minutes. You wanna stir the lentils once or twice in between. If they're starting to turn brown on the edges, reduce the temperature to 290 or 295 degrees Fahrenheit and let that bake. Remove the tray from the oven. If most of the lentils are crispy, some of the larger clumps might not be as crispy, but they should generally be kind of drying out. If not, then you can continue to bake it for another 10 minutes or so. Then add in the coconut or seeds or whatever else you want to add to your granola, mix it lightly, and then put this back in the oven at 270 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 minutes or so. We're just lightly toasting the seeds and continuing to dry out the lentils. Then switch off the oven, let it sit for another 10 minutes or so. Remove the baking tray from the oven, add in some dried fruit like dried cranberries, raisins, chopped up dates or whatever else, and mix into the warm granola and let that sit and cool completely. Once the granola is completely cool, transfer it to an airtight container and enjoy. If you baked and dried out the lentils really well and they were all nicely crispy, this granola will be fine for 2 to 3 weeks. You can use other lentils to make granola as well. You can use whole lentils. You can also make it with other split lentils like split mung beans or split pigeon peas or other split legumes. You want to cook any of those legumes until they are just a tad bit more cooked than al dente, and then proceed to make the granola. If you try any of the other lentils, do let me know how they turned out as well. If you do try this granola, do let me know in the comments how you liked it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for more easy vegan recipes, Indian recipes, fun recipes, and so much more. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.